fire, looting, explosions, everything. After I get all caught up on this crazy riot and everything that happened last night, I'm gonna show you a sign of what has to be a sign of obvious judgment because of what just happened in Colombia. So that you just saw flash on the screen, I'll show it to you more in a minute, was a literal demon. Not just a demon, it looked exactly like the devil as portrayed today in the 21st century at this stuff happening in LA and California. Just
You
good? All good? All right, thank you. Thank you. First of all, I know it's a very, very busy time. Thank you all for coming here tonight and allowing us the opportunity to be able to brief the public a little bit about what's going on and what we've been doing and ask, truly an ask for peace throughout our city. I'm joined here by Gerald Woodyard, Deputy Chief from Operations West Bureau, Herman Hurtado, Commander from Professional Standards Bureau, and from Operations Central Bureau, Raul Jovel, who's also the incident commander for Central Bureau and for this incident. So I want to just take an opportunity to speak directly to the people of Los Angeles, clarify LAPD's roles and the events that have been playing out over these past couple of days. This includes our response to protests, our public safety responsibilities, and recent claims that you've seen made by some federal officials. Today I met with Governor Newsom, Mayor Bass, U.S. Attorney General of the Central District of California, Bill Aceli, and ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons. Let me begin by reaffirming a core principle. The LAPD supports and protects the First Amendment right to free speech. In recent days, many protests across the city have been peaceful, and we thank the community for expressing their views and their frustration in a responsible manner. However, when peaceful demonstrations devolve into acts of vandalism or violence, especially violence directed at innocent people, law enforcement officers, and others, we must respond firmly. An act of violence, whether toward officers, demonstrators, or the public, will be met with swift and lawful action. Our goal is to maintain order without escalating conflict and to protect everybody's right to safety. Recent public statements have misrepresented LAPD's action from an incident the other night. Specifically, there was a claim that LAPD delayed responding to a federal officer's request for assistance by more than 2 hours. When we heard that, I think anybody who's a police officer couldn't believe it, and certainly anyone with LAPD couldn't imagine how that would happen. Well, it didn't happen, and I just want to go into that just a little bit. LAPD was not given advance notice that the federal operations would occur in that area. As a result, we were not pre-positioned to respond immediately to unrest related to those actions. Once the call for assistance came in, LAPD responded within 38 minutes. And that sounds like a long time, but I'll tell you why that is. The response was impacted by traffic, crowd density in the area with unrest occurring, hazardous conditions caused by tear gas that was previously deployed by federal agents at that location. Many of our officers, because it was put together in a mobile field force configuration without advance notice, were not equipped with gas masks. But despite these challenges, we moved in quickly and as safely as possible. At no point did LAPD ignore or intentionally delay any request for help. I also want to be unequivocally clear. The Los Angeles Police Department does not participate in or coordinate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement on civil immigration enforcement. We've said this over and over again, and I can't stress it enough for the people in our community who have high levels of anxiety about this issue, that we want everybody to believe and be able to call the LAPD in time of need if they've been a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime. We need that. Otherwise, the system does not work. That has been our policy and remains our policy, and it went into effect in 1979. So 46 years ago, that's been the way we do business. On the other hand, however, when a law enforcement agency, any agency, requests emergency assistance to protect lives, we are obligated to respond, and we do. Public safety is our duty, and we will answer every legitimate call for help from anyone. We recognize that immigration enforcement operations can cause a deep fear and anxiety, particularly in immigrant communities. That's why we're committed to transparency, accountability, and treating every Angelino with respect, regardless of their immigration status. Our job is not to divide communities or politicize law enforcement. Our job is simply to keep everyone safe. I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of our officers and partner agencies for their dedication and professionalism during these very challenging times. Their commitment to upholding the law, even in the face of hostility, is a reflection of the values that we stand for. We're working together to keep everyone safe, our officers and the public alike, and this remains our top priority. We'll continue to...
It's still daylight, so I'm thinking that it could potentially, I mean, what we're seeing now is a huge startup for when the sun goes down, when activity really kicks off. My FBI brethren, Bobby Chacon, said just a little while ago, he used a perfect term, that the mayor poured fire on this, and that is exactly what we're seeing. And this fire right here, LA has to remember, it almost burnt down just a few months ago. And when we start to see this type of actions, it is no longer a peaceful protest. It doesn't matter that some people stand around. The reality is this has gone from a protest to a riot, and it's actually been that way for about 3 days now. And this is the perfect example of where the National Guard could be used. Usually they're a buffer or a...
Destroy you. It was to disgrace you slowly, publicly, and permanently. But they underestimated one thing. A chosen one with discernment is a walking lie detector and a silent storm. Now lean in, because what I'm about to say might feel uncomfortably familiar. Let's be real. What you went through wasn't some random drama, a bad phase, or just toxic people acting out. No, what you endured was a ritual, a coordinated attempt to humiliate, isolate, and psychologically erase you. In plain sight. And here's the twist that most people can't stomach. In cults, secret societies, and spiritual manipulation circles, public humiliation is one of the oldest rituals used to break someone's identity without ever laying a hand on.
Welcome to the channel. This is Michelle, and I have a message today. So just ask God if this message is for you, or if it might be for you in the future. And the message is, God saved you from a disgusting, wicked plot. So this is a message for quite a few chosen ones at this time. This message is a little bit creepy and dark, but so you are somebody who God is about to use in a major way, and you might have just gone through some kind of a major downfall. You might have just had a low point in your life, or you might have gone into hiding, or you might have just gone through a lot of like attacks or witchcraft, or
that they were successful in being able to set ablaze. We should also point out that we watched as 5 Waymo cars. Whoa. Okay, so now we're doing donuts
in reverse
in the intersection.
In reverse, and someone throwing rocks. Okay, what's going on there? That looks very strange. Somebody. I don't know what to make of this. This seems so very dangerous. Obviously, these people throwing the rocks are not happy with that person there. I don't know if they felt this person was endangering them. This is a very bizarre scene there, and why that person would do those donuts like that in reverse. Was that person trying to send a statement? And, oh, wow.
Yeah, what's going on? He seems to be having trouble controlling that car, or he's driving erratically on purpose. I think that whomever threw rocks or whatever it was, yeah, he's having trouble controlling that car. Oh, or has decided to go past the those barricades there. This is basically the Alvera Street area, the plaza.
I'm just wondering,
so not where traffic typically would go.
Susan, was this person trying to hurt or endanger those that were in the streets there?
I feel like the people in that intersection or near that intersection felt as if, yeah, that this was somebody that was...
Not one of them.
No.
Look at the way this person's driving on the sidewalk. Oh my gosh, this is very scary here. LAPD, FYI, something's going on here with this driver who is that a sidewalk he's driving on?
Well, that's a part of that plaza area of Alvera Street.
Right.
Not far from the Chinese Museum. And it's clearly not set up for traffic. It was at one point, but now you have all of those balustrades or whatever they're called, the barriers that keep you from driving exactly where he's driving now. And if you've ever been there in an afternoon, oftentimes there will be people that are playing music and dancing. He's going at a pretty high rate of speed.
That is way too fast on a city street where there are people and bicycles of all sorts, whether you're with these demonstrations or not. It makes me wonder who this person is and what statement they're trying to make. Are they trying to agitate the people that are out there on the streets at this hour? Look at the way that driver is driving. Is this somebody on drugs? Are they drunk? Who does that? Who drives in reverse like that in the middle of other traffic, endangering innocent people? That's a scary situation in its own right.
Oh, he's out of the car now. He's decided to abandon that vehicle. And what? He's got a hold of a dumpster trying to move it, but unsuccessful. So now he's got to get back in the car. And by the way, I think I saw some shattered glass. I think that the agitators were able to throw a piece of concrete or what have you at him. And he was able broke through the window because then he was throwing things back out again.
Look at the way that driver is driving. That is a very scary scene. It's almost like this person is a rogue person who is out of his mind. And look at the crowd.
Look, everybody's coming towards him because he's stuck. He's stuck there. Now he's going to do things quite illegally to get out of the way. But it's clear that he was trying to go after the agitators or whomever is left over in the downtown area. And look at that. People are throwing things at him. So apparently the sentiment was, okay, you're not with us. Therefore, you're against us.
Well, look, I mean, the guy was doing donuts in reverse. You could kill anybody like that. He's been driving, it seems to be, very erratically. It makes you wonder what the mindset is of this person. Is it someone who just lost their mind? They just don't care who they hurt. They're trying to make a statement or what? But this is something that I'm surprised that we don't have a police chopper over this one, as in a pursuit of some sort, because this behavior was very, very erratic.
He was able to outrun, or thanks to the fact that he's in a vehicle and the other people are on foot, he had to get out of that traffic. So he's decided to back up. And let's see what he's going to do now. Now we're basically, I believe, in the Union Station area, going through Union Station, going through intersections or stop signs.
Going through a stop sign. Oh, he sideswiped a bicyclist. Oh, is that what happened? Is that, we're talking to our booth right now. So he sideswiped a bicyclist. That's why the crowd got agitated. But his behavior then, I would say, it wasn't necessarily just in response, because he continues to drive erratically. And not sure the mindset of this person here, but if they were an innocent person just trying to get out of the way, they're not leaving and getting out of the way in a normal fashion.
No, not at all. When he left that intersection, it was sort of interesting the way he was wobbling. I thought perhaps the car was in some way disabled, but no, that was just his way of being somewhat threatening. But he sideswiped a bicyclist. That's what got the rest of the crowd, those that were on foot outside of the vehicle, against him. Now we're in that place where Skyfox is overhead, but you got that high rise there, so it's going to be difficult to see the vehicle. I wonder if he had any idea that that he was being tracked by a news helicopter.
Again, who knows what went down, how that happened, where a bicyclist was...
The downtown Los Angeles, you know, I mean, Los Angeles is huge, so I guess the raids weren't necessarily close to each other, but basically... ICE came in with a bunch of military vehicles. There were dozens of them. They had flashbangs, they had tear gas grenade launchers, and They raided 3 locations in the area and brought the people they raided. I think they arrested around 50 people and brought them back to an ICE torture dungeon that they have requisitioned in downtown Los Angeles, where apparently people are being kept in pitch blackness, being given food and water intermittently. Families, you know, women, children, so on. Led to a bunch of impromptu protests, including people attempting to prevent vehicles from leaving the federal detention center, and apparently the FBI got called in. Here, give me the, I did see a video. Yeah, here we go.
You're looking at here on the right is the scene from earlier.
This is what I like to see, because this is how Los Angeles like to consume their news, okay? Via helicopter. Helicopters are always over Los Angeles. See the military vehicles right here? And there's like 20 guys from the HSI and ICE hanging off of it. They fired a couple of flashbangs. In fact, oh, yep, there you go.
That we had talked with Carlos about. You did see one of the agents roll the flashbang in the direction of the crowd. So they were trying to leave the area, but the crowd didn't want them to. So you see some of those agents roll the flashbangs in their direction, set those little smoke bombs off just to disperse the crowd so that they could leave.
One of the things that makes me really happy when I see shit like this is the fact that nobody respects ICE. As soon as you start respecting and fearing these like federal Gestapo stormtroopers, it's over. Like, as soon as everyone like is too scared of them to do anything, it's over. But there's like hours and hours of video of, oh yeah, see this guy trying to stop the car by like walking in front of it? Keep your eyes on that guy. Jesus, that's dangerous. People are like running up in their face, filming them. People are like throwing shit at them. Nobody respects these guys. Couldn't believe it. There was a feed I was seeing that was on live TV where they panned the camera out right as this happened because they thought they were about to watch somebody die on TV. But credit where credit's due, the fascist driving this car braked as soon as this guy fell back. Not giving him credit for anything else, but that was a quick break.
Is clearly, and we saw this, but we did end up seeing that person who was just hit by the car. They did get up. I don't know if they were taken to the hospital, but I saw them sitting up. I saw them, you know, the crowd gathering around them. But again, when you
about as dangerous as being a pedestrian in LA normally? Yeah, probably.
Know that a car is going to be getting away. I don't know exactly what kind of report, investigation happens after this. I don't even know if that person stuck around. But again, you can see people were throwing things at that vehicle, that ICE vehicle, I believe it was, you know, ICE agents inside the vehicle with other people who were...
There were a couple of prominent arrests. One of the people who was arrested was the head of, I believe, a local union group, which actually led to a condemnation of these raids from our very own and favorite Gavin Newsom. There was also a statement put out by the LAPD confirming that they will not be working with ICE. Los Angeles is a sanctuary city. They actually passed that legislation late last year after Trump won his second term.
Detained, but you saw people throwing things at them. You saw people approaching this car. You can see that people, you know, they are definitely putting themselves out there, showing that they are not happy with what's happening, and it's unsettling to see this on our streets here.
And you now are back to watching ambience just in, and so they went into that workplace this morning, and
they should be working against this. Isn't that their whole job, protecting people? The police are not going to start fighting with federal agents. That would be insane of them to do. A sanctuary city means that the LAPD are forbidden from providing information to or working with ICE. It basically means that if ICE wants to do any raids in Los Angeles, they have to go off a federal database. They can't Just wanted to make sure you guys didn't think I was glazing the LAPD. These guys suck.
People have taken to the streets to protest this fascism. There is an urgent need for many more, for all those who have every reason to oppose this fascism, to actively join in the struggle to defeat this fascism. Everyone who wants to see an end to oppression based on race, sex, and gender. and an end to cruel, murderous oppression and lawless tyranny overall needs to be actively involved. Now,
thinking that it could potentially, I mean, what we're seeing now is a huge startup for when the sun goes down, when activity really kicks off.
They're firing on them now. They're moving forward. This is a sheriff department, so they're moving up now.
Oh, fuck. Mass up. Yeah, mass up. Oh, shit.
Speaking.
There, well, he makes a number of appearances in the Bible. Now, believers don't need to be afraid of this. We've got some young people here tonight. You know, I guess we talk about the end of the world. That's kind of scary stuff. Nothing to be afraid of. The Lord is coming, and when He comes in glory, and the kingdom is going to be better than anything you can imagine. So you're not losing anything. It's all a big gain when the Lord comes. But Antichrist has to have his way first. And if you haven't sensed the fact that what's palpable at this point, the devil, and what he's doing, how he's influencing people and so on. So he's going to make his great manifestation. We're holding him back at this point. He'd like to get us out of the way. But he'll finally make his manifestation to the world. The church will be gone. And so what we find in Matthew 24 is that many false Christs are going to arise. And we're warned not to be deceived by them. But apparently Israel will be deceived, and that they will actually set up a covenant in the midst of the week, as Daniel refers son of perdition as one of them. But Antichrist is how John designates him in the epistle. He speaks of the Antichrist with the definite article. Oh, he said there are already many Antichrists. This we know. Even in the first century, Nero was an Antichrist. And there were those that followed after him that were perhaps even worse. Diocletian would be right along with him. And there are several others that we could indicate that were Antichrist and persecuted the church for the first 2.5 centuries of Christianity. Antichrist, but the Antichrist. So the man of sin is going to make his appearance finally. And again, Paul writes about this. He says, it's going to happen when they shall say peace and safety. Antichrist ushers in a false peace, and the world is hungering for it, looking for it. I guess I jokingly said, nobody's calling Joe Biden the Antichrist. Well, for obvious reasons, right? He doesn't really fit the bill too well, does he? But all presidents have tried to bring peace. The United Nations, it wasn't ostensibly, wasn't that their goal, is to bring world peace? And they've failed to do it in 60-some years, 70 years of human history. They've failed utterly in it. So, but the time will come, peace and safety. This is what Antichrist brings as the horseman, the first horseman there in Revelation chapter 6. He appears on a white horse, and he has a bow in his hand with no arrows. He's a man of peace. And by his doctrine of peace will prosper, and Daniel tells us. So when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So the suddenness of this moment when Antichrist makes a peace covenant with Israel and with the world for that matter, but it's soon broken up as soon as he announces himself to be the great I am. And there it is, Revelation 6:2, the white horse, he that sat upon him had a bow and a crown. So, and there it is in Daniel 8, and he shall destroy wonderfully. It's an interesting oxymoron. So how do you destroy wonderfully, right? I mean, that's antithetical. But what it means by this, the word wonder, means that you will stand in awe, in wonderment. How could this happen? In other words, he shall destroy wonderfully. So there's a sense in which he brings in his false peace, and it will bring destruction. And he shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. Now, I told you from the outset that Matthew 24 is exclusively about Israel. We can speak about the scenario that...
Same as the more expensive one, so I'll be 100% honest, there's not much point in getting the more expensive one. It's the same thing. It's just you want to support more. But to be honest, I'll probably remove the more expensive tier because membership is not money that I rely on whatsoever. It's just something cool for you to do if you want to. Thank you for the super chat, Barth. Appreciate you. So anyhow, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We are out here in Los Angeles, California, downtown LA. There is a massive group of people out here in LA marching. You know, variety of things happening. Also a massive police response. Lots. Not even the word to put it. We haven't even seen the National Guard yet. We will get a shot eventually because we're going to be out here all day. But the National Guard is here. And we can't see them because they're off to the right. There's no way we're getting back there. There's no way. It's just not happening. They're going to be there for a while, though. Rochelle, thank you for that purchase. Appreciate you. Yeah, so we're going to be here for a while. It's not like we can just get a shot of it later or tomorrow. I think they're going to be here for like 90 days or so.
Add your mask. Is that because there's a lot of smoke and tear gas being thrown about?
Yeah, we're right in front of City Hall still. The protesters kind of push back towards City Hall. So there's this skirmish line with LASD here trying to hold them where they're at on 1st Street. We're trying to stay out of their way here. And they are, you can see the fire at the end of the street right now. They are firing those non-lethals, those flashbangs, and they warned us that there will be gas, as there's one right now. So there's going to be some tear gas here momentarily that they are firing across the street. Yeah, you can just see all the protesters over there, and on the other line of this law enforcement, and just flames, and it's pretty chaotic right now. They're trying to put an end to this right now.
Yeah, they've got that bonfire going there, Matthew, and they've successfully kept it lit for a while. But those flashbangs, that is no joke. And the flashbangs and the smoke can be quite helpful in trying to disperse a crowd. Wow.
Yeah, those flashbangs are really loud. The smoke is very successful, and we did see an alert from LAPD that essentially all of the agitators at this point have split off into separate groups around downtown LA. It was warning people in the area to be careful of those agitators and possibly causing damage in the area. The Sheriff's Department was called in here to assist with the LAPD outside of City Hall, as there were protesters that were trying to barricade themselves on this street out front of City Hall. As right now we're following this skirmish line. They're trying to push the protesters further back. You can see the fire still going on as well.
Matthew, as we watch there, that skirmish line able to make some progress and move forward there, paint the picture where City Hall is. Is it behind you, in front of you? Where is City Hall in relation to this?
They're just moving up. They're making sure nobody gets behind them, and they're moving forward.
Airship, this is Paul 220. I have a full MFS, sir. Where do you need us?
How close did you guys get over to 2nd and Hill?
Oh, we're on Hill. We're pretty close to 2nd and Hill.
This point, incident number 3775.
Oh, yeah. The crowd kind of went left right there.
43, Roger.
Oh, this dude's doing a street takeover right here.
186 shows follow up from Route to California Hospital.
That's why it was all smoky, I think.
No. And Road Street.
Is that a message for control?
Roger, I'm subject on this call with Bay 17.
Oh my God. I'm seeing crazy driving in the rear view.
Unit 341. They're going to have to step out or...
There's kind of no rules right now. Oh, I just heard something.
Roger, she's at 2317 East Imperial Highway, apartment 314. The victim
They're
is,
shooting concussion grenades behind me.
Roger. So 314.
See, that's what I thought. They don't want they don't want the whole world seeing City Hall and police headquarters get taken over.
You watch the karmic couple and their practitioner, completely unaware of the celestial judgment unfolding right in front of them. All those years of their secret games and manipulations had finally led to this moment, a reckoning you were destined to deliver, one that would shake them to their core. With every breath and every heartbeat, they drew closer to realizing the true power and identity you carried.
Very specific. You've been questioning why someone could be so cruel, so filled with envy or hatred toward you. You've asked God, why would they want to see me fall? Why would they wish that I end up with nothing? And God is answering you clearly today. It's not about you. It's about the condition of their heart.
God's chosen ones. Beloved chosen one. Stop scrolling. Something holy is happening right now. Heaven has pressed pause on the noise around you just to get this word to you. You did not stumble here by accident. Your spirit was drawn, pulled, summoned, because your name, your actual name, was spoken in heaven. The angels have been released. Yes, you heard that right. Released, assigned, activated, and guess what? Your name was called in that release. You are the reason a dispatch from the throne room just shook the heavens. Because you remember being different. You remember the call, even if you tried to forget. Let me make this clear. You are not overlooked. Heaven has not ignored you. God has not misplaced your purpose. In fact, you've just been identified publicly in the spirit realm, and what happens next is not going to make sense in the natural. Chosen one. Angels don't move without a reason, and they don't move without a name. Your name was the reason. Do you know what that means? It means heaven trusts you. It means your assignment is active. It means you are carrying something too powerful to stay hidden any longer. Listen carefully. The attack wasn't random. The isolation wasn't accidental. The delay wasn't punishment. The tears, the betrayal, the warfare, they were all proof that hell knew your name before you did. But now, heaven is saying it out loud. And when heaven
us the opportunity to be able to brief the public a little bit about what's going on and what we've been doing, and ask truly an ask for peace throughout our city. I'm joined here by Gerald Woodyard, Deputy Chief from Operations West Bureau, Herman Hurtado, Commander from Professional Standards Bureau, and the events that have been playing out over these past couple of days. This includes our response to protests, our public safety responsibilities, and recent claims that you've seen made by some federal officials. Today I met with Governor Newsom, Mayor Bass, U.S. Attorney General of Central District of California, Bill Aseli, and ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons. Let me begin by reaffirming a core principle. The LAPD supports and protects the First Amendment right to free speech. In recent days, many protests across the city have been peaceful, and we thank the community for expressing their views and their frustration in a responsible manner. However, when peaceful demonstrations devolve into acts of vandalism or violence, especially violence directed at innocent people, law enforcement officers, and others, we must respond firmly. An act of violence, whether toward officers, demonstrators, or the public, will be met with swift and lawful action. Our goal is to maintain order without escalating conflict and to protect everybody's right to safety. Recent public statements have misrepresented LAPD's action from an incident the other night. Specifically, there was a claim that LAPD delayed responding to a federal officer's request for assistance by more than 2 hours. When we heard that, I think anybody who's a police officer couldn't believe it, and certainly anyone with LAPD couldn't imagine how that would happen. Well, it didn't happen, and I just want to go into that just a little bit. LAPD was not given advance notice that the federal operations would occur in that area. As a result, we were not pre-positioned to respond immediately to unrest related to those actions. Once the call for assistance came in, LAPD responded within 38 minutes. And that sounds like a long time, but I'll tell you why that is. The response was impacted by traffic, crowd density in the area with unrest occurring, hazardous conditions caused by tear gas that was previously deployed by federal agents at that location. Many of our officers, because it was put together in a mobile field force configuration without advance notice, were not equipped with gas masks. But despite these challenges, we moved in quickly and as safely as possible. At no point did LAPD ignore or intentionally delay any request for help. I also want to be unequivocally clear. The Los Angeles Police Department does not participate in or coordinate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement on civil immigration enforcement.
I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this. LAPD is collaborating with ICE. This is outside of Ambience Factory. Another clear example that LAPD and the city of Los Angeles collaborating with ICE, proving that the sanctuary city was always bullshit. Mayor of LA Silence supports this. Apparently, Homeland Security and ICE is raiding a downtown Los Angeles warehouse right now. They've locked the doors and holding the employees inside. This is straight up Gestapo shit. Breaking, the president of California's largest union has been detained during an ICE raid. The SEIU California president David Huerta injured, detained at ICE raid in Los Angeles. What the f? Mayor Karen Bass says we will not stand for this. This morning we received reports of federal immigration enforcement actions in multiple locations in Los Angeles. As mayor of a proud city of immigrants who always contributes to the city in so many ways, I am deeply angered by what has taken place. Okay, why the f did the LAPD also do a perimeter outside of the ICE enforcement action? Like, you're the mayor, Mayor Karen Bass. You have control over your goons. LA emergency protests from the Community Self-Defense Coalition Stop Deportations Now. ICE has hundreds of members of our community kidnapped and is holding them at this location. What the f is happening, bro? What the f? This is my backyard. Jesus, Lord mercy. FBI riot team is out in the streets of Los Angeles and getting pushed out by community on the ground. I can't even go down there today because my live stream backpack got canceled.
Out here. Back to you.
Man, I have to get it. I have to reopen an account. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
But what we want to point out here is how these officers are now leaving. The ATF officers are very slowly moving, and you'll notice that some on the ground are trying to get the people to move out of the way. We have a piece of video that showed the vans as they were departing.
Temple and Aliso. I see Aliso. That's Aliso. That's Aliso over there. That's where we are. It's very close. I think that unlawful assembly was over there, right? Okay. Huh? You're a disgrace to this country! A disgrace to this country! You developed a better life. And this is how you honor them. There are no illegals and stolen land. There are no illegals. I'll just have you spin, okay?
Okay, spin around to you.
So we'll start kind of showing the crowd.
Gotcha.
There, yeah. Let's start here. Let's start here. Start here, and then I'll have.
I got no gun, just my brown skin, homeboy.
Mike, should Mike stand right there?
Be prepared to move. I think they just shot her off over there. They're bringing out the riot shield. Be prepared to move. They're going to start pushing. Right here, we can at least hunker down. can't.
Do you see the LAPD pushing everybody? You can see them, right?
They're pushing us too. They're going to push us too. And all they're going to do is work with them. Start moving. Start moving.
This way.
Firing those things off the crowd. Get back. Get back.
We're pressed. I'm pressed. We're pressed. We're pressed. We're pressed. We have a right to be here. We are pressed.
Relax. I'm trying to get it. Relax.
We are pressed. We are pressed.
We got him. We got him. We got him.
We're pressed.
We're moving. We're moving. We're moving, guys.
Mike.
Mike, get back. Mike, get back. Guys, they're directing us this way. They're directing us this way. They told us to go back this way. Where do you want us to go? Where do you want us to go? Where do you want us to go? Okay. So tell him that. Tell him that.
Tell them that. Tell them that.
This guy right here. Somebody got hit. Hey. Yeah, they are. I know.
Never sue the other driver.
A question that is weighing heavy on my mind these days, it's Thursday, June 5th, is what kind of person do you have to be to sign up to be an ICE agent in 2025? I mean, the southern border is basically closed. They've emptied the prisons of all undocumented immigrants who have been convicted of crimes and sentenced to prison. But Donald Trump and Stephen Miller want ICE and Customs and Border Patrol and Department of Homeland Security to increase the number of daily arrests nationwide of undocumented immigrants from 1,000 people to 3,000 people per day. And even if you do that, I mean, hang on, I have a calculator here. Let's say they do that. You know, there's a reason that these guys are wearing masks everywhere they go, and they're not wearing badges with their names on them. Because they know what they're doing is bad, and they don't want to be identified. They don't want to be identified. They work for us, and we pay them. They are paid with taxpayer dollars. They're not undercover CIA agents operating overseas, you know, under deep cover and with an assumed identity to get state secrets from other countries. They're operating on U.S. soil. And ICE and DHS and the Trump administration believe that we do not have a right to know who they are. And it's like, I was thinking about that earlier. I did a TikTok earlier today about some ICE agents. They've been doing raids in Martha's Vineyard, of all fucking places. And one of the ICE agents, with his mask and his hat and his Oakleys and his assault rifle and his little plate carrier, had a tattoo on the back of his right tricep that was 3 interlocked triangles. It's called a Volknot, Volknot. And it's understood in white supremacist circles that is a white supremacy tattoo. And, you know, I really hope there does come a day when we start to find out who some of these fucking assholes are with the horrific things that they're doing to families and women and children. And
shit! Almost got his ass.
Way to power, when forgiveness must make room for boundaries, when light instead of merely shining must blaze like a sword. You have been told your kindness is your strength, and it is. But now you're seeing how the world preys on light that doesn't know how to fight, how demons, in human skin and unseen realms, take advantage of pure-hearted souls who never learned how to bite back. Spiritual warfare is not a metaphor. It's a daily war of energies, intentions, and invisible forces. And the world, it's not fair. It's rigged against the awakened, the good, the pure, but not because...
Sí, señor.
Years, but what intelligence services do really hasn't. And I want to start with that because while their practices haven't changed, the scale of them has. And that's what really brought me forward. It's not that, the government was spying on somebody. They've always done that. It was the government was spying on everybody.
In a keynote speech at Token 2049 Singapore, whistleblower Edward Snowden gives a colorful explanation of what's really going on with governments. Snowden is famous for blowing the whistle on the American government. But Snowden believes now the effort to spy on its citizens has become a global occurrence. Snowden referenced Telegram founder Pavel Durov, who was recently arrested in France. According to Snowden, Durov didn't follow orders in regards to giving up private information to the government, which led to his arrest. Snowden believes this is now the new way of surveillance for governments, a tactic that investigative journalist Whitney Webb has been suggesting. Governments having backroom deals with private companies to surveillance the population. Snowden believes that crypto is one of our only ways out of this Orwellian surveillance state, which he believes is only going to amplify in the near future with the advancement of technology. Let's listen to what Snowden has to say.
And it wasn't that they didn't want to do that in the past, but that they didn't have the capability to do it. We were talking about things that were the Stasi's, wet dream. And now we see that creeping everywhere. Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, was one of the people that I tweeted about a few weeks ago. I had hoped to speak about here. Because I think this really emblematizes what has changed. So for those who are unfamiliar, just a few weeks ago, we saw a well-coordinated effort by the old powers to gain control over Telegram by taking its founder, Pavel Durov, as, frankly, a hostage in France. Now, they had been complaining publicly that Telegram which is not a meaningfully secure messenger, by the way. Please don't call it a secure messenger when you're describing it to your friends. It's more like a standard chat group that has DMs attached. It does have one capability to send end-to-end encrypted texts called secret chats, but almost no one uses it, right? Anyway, the state apparatus of the US and Europe had been complaining that Telegram had not been providing them enough control over its ecosystem, the ability to shut down channels at will, as they do on Facebook and everybody else, to dox their users. And now, because of some weaknesses in Telegram's design as a service, Telegram did have this ability. So the governments knew Telegram could be doing this if they wanted to, but Telegram apparently did make at least some efforts to resist demands to share this ability for what that's worth. So what happens? Durov is lured to France under whatever pretext. I think it's even public now. He's immediately tossed in the dungeon, and presto changeo, a few days later, he's out on bail, and Telegram changes its terms of service. That is the unfortunate reality of how the world works when you don't architect your service to resist state interference at the protocol level. And that's what's so special and powerful about crypto broadly, Bitcoin specifically. But, it's that kind of mentality where you design against the worst possible case to avoid the inevitable. Now, in Durov's case, I hope he gets out. And once he's in a free place, he genuinely fixes the design problem that put him in the hot seat in the first place by creating a service that does not put too much power and data in vulnerable human hands. You have to design your app so that there will never be a head that the state can point a gun at, or they will do it. But the real lesson here, why it's so important, is not about Durov. It's not about Telegram. It's about us. We are all entering a new phase of history where what we considered the more enlightened collection of states globally, ones that had embraced the classically liberal ideal, and I want to clarify here that I'm talking about the supremacy of the individual's right to themselves, the right to decide and direct one's life, rather than whatever it is that political parties are branding as liberalism today. The governments of these states that used to champion that idea are now some of those working hardest to roll it back, to bureaucratize, to influence, to nudge, to shape, to ultimately control each and every individual within their territory and beyond, to the extent made newly possible by technology. This is not a different story than 2013. This is the same. Now, in their defense, these states genuinely seem to believe that this is the path to utopia, that they genuinely know what is good for you to a greater extent than you do, because they're the expert. Everyone in this community, knows the memes, whether you're going to eat the bugs or whatever. The thing to remember is that this is a story that we have seen play out in history before. You have the experts telling you to go out into the field and kill the sparrows. And now we're in the moment where we're waiting to see what's going to happen next.
We heard Snowden talk about the way the government views its citizens and how, albeit intrusive, they wholeheartedly believe they know what's best for society as a whole. Snowden goes on to continue to discuss this dangerous dilemma between government overreach and citizen freedom. But Snowden also touches base on the importance of crypto, especially when considering the dollar is done. Snowden argues that we need not to get too far away from the true essence of crypto, which is not necessarily to have a billion-dollar portfolio, but to keep sovereignty and have a means of trading value that doesn't debase and fail. Let's continue to listen to Snowden.
It seems to me that these proposals are less interested in surveillance than they are in control. They're laying the procedural framework for the global control of the voices of every volume. And that's what it's really about. It's not that they're worried about some secret conversation. It's not that they're trying to shake down Durov for the keys to some conversation. It's that they see people talking in ways that they don't like, ways that they consider to be misinformation, ways that they consider to be disinformation, ways that they consider to be socially harmful, that they consider to be structurally undesirable, and they want to silence it. And that is dangerous. That's the point of no return. We lose that, there's no coming back. Which brings us to modernity and all the ways that it's changing around us. This was not the sort of talk I expected to have when I woke up yesterday, which I spent much of the day reading about Israel's unprecedented campaign of what by all of what by all reports.
Forces are working overtime because you have woken up to something. I got this message last night that the lines are beginning to blur. And then when I came here today to do the reading, I got the timelines are beginning to blur. And it feels like there are two timelines Spirit's pointing me towards. One is a timeline where shadow forces are really rampant and prevalent, and they're creating all kinds of weird situations. Okay, things that are painful, things that are deceptive. This is a timeline where many people find themselves in trouble with karma. Okay. Then there's this other timeline where people are waking up or they're beginning to question things and to understand how they can elevate their own consciousness, transmute energies. And it feels like these timelines split at some point, and these energies were maybe kept at a distance from one another to a certain degree. You were aware of this timeline, that timeline was aware of yours, but there was some kind of barrier, protection in the middle. Now, there's going to be a moment in time, whether it's happening, I feel like it could be happening now, okay, or soon, it's coming up shortly, where these timelines converge. They come back together. The shadow forces, and I guess I'll just say the light forces, just to make it easier, but you interpret this however it resonates for you. It's like they're meeting back up, and the lines between what is shadow and what is light begin to blur. And this could be a good thing, like conceptually, because it could point towards unification of shadow and light, but I don't feel it that way. That doesn't seem to be the message. The lines blurring here seems to be an attempt of shadow entities to pull those away from the light and get them mixed up into chaos and confusion.
Don't shoot us! All right, we are all press!
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup.
This is Ashley with Status Coup.
On the ground.
In Philadelphia.
Flint, Michigan. East Palestine, Ohio. Please support the leading independent news outlet on the ground.
Covering what the corporate media covers up.
Brought about by Elon Musk and Doge's illegal cuts, people are now starting to grasp the reality of what happened, right? And that's why I say he can't get away with it. He's got to be locked up. He committed countless crimes with illegally cutting all these programs. He has no right to do that. He has no authority to do that. Any court in America will tell you that. And so far, any court in America that has seen any case involving this has said that. Here you have John Morales, who is a climate data guy, and he's a meteorologist. And he, in this local news report here on NBC, he says the thing that every weatherman, every climate person, every meteorologist should be informing people of this, because this is the truth and people need to know it. They need to know what this government has done with their money and in their name. Watch this. He issues a dire warning, and you have to see it to believe it.
Listen, I've been on this, since 8 o'clock this morning on social media, and there is a lot of anxiety out there because you don't see it turning, right? When is it going to turn? John, it's not turning. It's coming straight to us. It's going to turn, all right? The turn was never forecast to be on Sunday. The turn isn't even on Monday morning. The turn will come Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Tuesday. Remember that? That was about 6 years ago. That was Hurricane Dorian, as it was absolutely devastating the Northwest Bahamas as a Category 5, sat over that region for 2 days. It was headed straight west. Lots of people in Florida were concerned the hurricane was heading here. And as you've grown accustomed to my presentations over my 34 years in South Florida newscasts, confidently, I went on TV and I told you, it's going to turn. You don't need to worry. It is going to turn. And I am here to tell you that I am not sure I can do that this year, because of the gutting, the sledgehammer attack on science in general, and I could talk about that for a long, long time, and how that is affecting the U.S. Leadership in science over many years, and how we're losing that leadership, and this is a multi-generational impact on science in this country, all right? But specifically, let's talk about the federal government cuts to the National Weather Service and to NOAA. Did you know that Central and South Florida National Weather Service offices are currently basically 20 to 40% understaffed? From Tampa to Key West, including the Miami office, 20 to 40% understaffed. Now, this type of staffing shortage is having impacts across the nation because there's been a nearly 20% reduction in weather balloon launches that carry those radiosondes. And what we're starting to see is that the quality of the forecasts is becoming degraded.
I told you this was going to happen when we first got the news that Elon Musk and Doge broke in to NOAA and the National Weather Service. In fact, I'm a bit of a nerd and a dork myself. I like watching the Weather Channel. I've literally turned into my father. Like, he used to watch the Golf Channel and the Weather Channel. That's what I watch. I watch Golf Channel, Weather Channel, and then, like, basketball when it's on. It's a shame. It's crazy how you just, like, become your parents. But anyway, I warned you that this was going to happen, and there were some weather YouTubers who I watch.
Searching for a reliable used sedan? Shop